Good evening, welcome to Ubuntu channel, and we're getting into the program called My Point of View. Right to host it, my name is Chaza, and this program is designed to actually give you the stories and headlines of the week. And tonight we've got a couple of stories to actually share with you, and you are free to join us and react to those stories. And as usual on the panel, I'm joined by Mr. Mukelabai, who will be one of those to actually, getting to add their voices to the stories that, we are yet to give you. And probably the usual panelists may be joining us a little later right here on the program. And you are also free to join us and be part of the program. Mr. Mukelabai, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening and good evening, viewers. It's good to see you and good to be here.
Definitely, it's a great thing to actually have you on the program. We are so excited, as it were, just like any other Saturday evening. At this point in time, we can go straight into taking a look at the first story, and we come back right on the other side.
We are deeply concerned with the level of falsehoods that are being peddled by members of the opposition, specifically to say. I think you saw some leaders of opposition political parties and some pages belonging to opposition political parties post alarming breaking news claiming that police have surrounded the residence of retired Archbishop Gillespie Mpundu and so on, when in fact not. And the police have no such operation, and nobody has surrounded the residence of the former Archbishop, and that is pure and clear falsehood aimed at alarming the nation and causing discomfort in the nation as a whole, and maybe particularly the Catholic community in particular. But such is the kind of opposition that we seem to be having in our country, and it is very concerning to us. You know that the law is very clear, that alarming the nation and falsifying, giving false information, making false publications is against the law.
Right, we are right back, and I must believe you've taken a look at the story that we have given you. And, the government's position there is that what was purported and was circulated right in the media was just a falsehood. And I must believe that we saw, that story going around on the social media. Mr. Mukelabai, your reaction?
I mean, it will be a new thing if Zambians today exhibit ignorance about the propaganda that the opposition have dwelled on for a long time. We know who they are, we know what they are capable of doing, we know what they're capable of saying. And they create more hills out of mountains, or mountains out of more hills. So we know who people who are very good at falsehood and propaganda. So it is good to hear the government retaliating with the minister or with the permanent secretary of information somehow this is what we have been lacking in the country. We need the government to retaliate to some of these, the negativity and this propaganda out there. It has been quite a lot of propaganda that has gone out to the nation, to the public. And you know, as you are aware, that us Zambians, we thrive, we love when there are innuendos. We love rumors. Conclude. We love to conclude. So I understand why the opposition, or why they have decided to dilute the information about the Father Mpundu, whatever they call him, Bishop Mpundu, who is well known for what he has said, known for what he has flip-flopped. Father Mpundu is known very well for having twisted his own words. The person he was busy supporting and really would do vengeful, and today, just because of he has been involved with the same people that have always been convinced by the people that have been wanting to see this government fail, goes ahead and start publishing such kind of alarming news, where now the very propaganda they go and spread falsehood to the nation. Why would it be a wrong thing for Father Mpundu to be apprehended or to be approached by the police if he has broken the law? There's nothing wrong. They can spread whatever. Father Mpundu is not, or Bishop Mpundu is not immune from any investigations or any prosecution. If we see that, if we know that he has abrogated the law, and because of what he has been saying and tallies with what the government has been suspecting, that these clergymen, they are involved in some kind of illegal, illicit background handle method. What is wrong with the government investigating? It is not persecution. If you want to claim that you have been persecuted, Father Mpundu is not immune. As a priest, you are not immune for any investigation or any for anything. You are simply a human being that is just pushing the agenda of Lesa, you know, God and the Bible, and preaching what the gospel says. And then you are found in a situation where you are now fighting with the current government, or the government, you are opposing or disagreeing with what the government's policies are, and calling names. You call names on the government that you have no evidence on, that you are busy accusing the government of things that are not true. And when the government retaliate and you want to play the card of victimization or persecution, sorry, Father Mpundu is just a human being like any other individual. That's why you see today that everyone that wants to be a prophet can be called a prophet. Anyone that wants to be a whatever, they can call themselves, you know, men of God. But with who the question is, who gives you that, who ordains you to be a person, in inverted commas, called man of God? What authority does that person have to give you man of God? Most of these men of God are have mental issues, to be honest with you. Most of them, they have had they have been abused during their childhood upbringing, and they only find solace and find peace in the Bible and try to hide their problems. That's why you find that certain individuals who claim to be men of God, they are very allergic to authorities. They don't want to follow the right procedure. They think what they say is correct and it's the gospel truth. So we need to be very careful with these people that are calling themselves men of God and they have titles. But for the permanent secretary of Home Affairs and Information to come out in that manner and retaliate to the propaganda, we know we are going back to square one. We know very well. We know very well about the messages, the opposition, especially headed by our brother who was a former ambassador. We know the name or the badge that is given to this gentleman, that he is not a person that we can rely on with information that have been perpetrated in the country. This gentleman poses a danger in disseminating false information. And that's why he's got cases by today that are before the courts of law, where he has to exculpate himself how he has accused the current government of doing certain things that are not correct. And that's why, but he has not been punished yet. And that's why we see all this. So somehow I also blame the government on having allowed such individuals to continue spreading falsehood or rumors or innuendos as gospel truth. And many Zambians, they are buying it. They are buying it because I know they are a little bit frustrated because of the cost of living, which was caused by the same people. And that's what they are trying to do, bombarding the Zambian with negative about this current government so that they exonerate themselves from the responsibilities and from the liabilities that they caused to this nation. So we are very much aware of what is going on. But it is good that the government is coming out now to retaliate. And this is what we need, more of the government voices, not just to keep quiet and claim that you are busy working and on serious matters, because many Zambians are being deceived. So if this government is not coming out to retaliate and intercept this falsehood, many Zambians will be misled, because the propagandists and those people that are still angry, that are still having a problem with loss of election and loss of power, they are still hurting. They're still living in denial. They still have that post-traumatic stress of losing a government, the power. Because when you lose power as the head of state, it's not an easy stuff. It's not an easy joke. You think you can get away and get okay within few years? This is big, because you're one of the most powerful men in the country. The whole entire country, you were one of the biggest. You had all the power. Then suddenly you lose that power. And what happens? You think you're going to sit back and... So this is an issue that we need to look at and say, well, the Walungu and his minions, they will try by all means to attack the current government, the current government's effort to mitigate the challenges that the country is undergoing, and to paint themselves as angels and paint the current government as devils, when we know who really the devils are. Why are we in this situation? Why are we in this mess in the first place? Who put us in this mess in the first place? Why are we pointing a finger at this current government that has a mandate for 5 years? Mandate. What does that mean when you are given the word mandatory? You are mandated to run this country within 5 years. If you fail, then the nation will speak. And we know why this government, the current government, is having these challenges. So why should some chap, just because you call upon God every day, you hold the Bible and you want to claim that you are holy and everything you say is gospel truth? No, 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 no. Our priests, our bishop, that's why we tell them to avoid involving themselves in politics, because they are not supposed to be politicians. And if they want to go into politics, they will be bruised. So if Bishop Mpundu wants to be a politician and get into politics and start insulting or using derogatory remarks towards the current leadership, he should not be surprised when he is visited by the same reaction from the current government. They are at liberty to respond to him. If it meant surrounding his house was and arrest him, or rather investigate on what he is doing, then so be it. It's not a vendetta, but this gentleman, he has involved himself. He has forgotten about his calling, but he wants to get involved in politics. So we should treat him as such, as a politician who is busy disputing with the government or challenging the government. Yes, if he has a case, let him show case. And the government also has the right to investigate their opponent, especially those that are considered a threat. If Father Mpundu is considered as a threat with his remarks and with his actions, why should the government be busy exculpating themselves for investigating their enemy? The person who is against them wants to see them, who is calling them names like they are corrupt, and when they are trying to do the right thing of finishing the corruption that was there before. Let him come with evidence and then point out, they say this government is corrupt in this manner. But if you just say by word of mouth without pointing to any specific issues and without any proof, just innuendos, and you call yourself a man of God that believes on the truth and justice, then you are just a hypocrite.
Mr. Mkelabai, in this instance, it is, it has been circulated that the police had surrounded, the premises for this named bishop, but the government says those are just allegations, and the police have not done so. And I've heard your center of reaction is on the alleged, behaviors or conduct of the named bishop, rather than the force, circulation of this information. I'd like to hear, even on this aspect, what is your reaction?
Well, if the police have refuted the allegations that this gentleman was visited by the police, then who are we? Why are we here? Why are we even complaining? Why have we been talking? Because the police have refuted. They don't have a case against him. They haven't even been to the place. So the question is, who is busy spreading these rumors, this falsehood to the nation that the bishop was surrounded by police? Who and what interest? What are these people's intention? Because here you have heard it from the horse's mouth, the government through the permanent secretary claiming that the government has not been there. Not even the police have been to his place to ask or interrogate or surround his home. So who is spreading this falsehood? Why are these falsehoods being spread? So that what is it? What is their agenda? What do they want to achieve at the end of the day? So we know that these are the works of the opposition. And if at all they're spearheaded by Emmanuel Mwamba, we know very well who Emmanuel Mwamba is and what he's capable of doing. even though he has not been caught red-handed, but one day he will be caught red-handed with his propaganda and with his tactics. We know exactly what this man can do, what he's probably capable of doing. You know, that education he got or that experience he got in government, and we know how he can manipulate. So the government, it just has to up their game and investigate. And he knows how to run away from the cases. He can destroy all the evidence. You think you have a case against him, but he always run away from the case because, and that's why he's a free molecule today. He can walk the street because there's no evidence pointing at him to say he's the one behind all this. He knows who he uses. He knows how he goes about this. And we know who he is. We know what he's capable of doing. He may be smart, yes, but for how long? Yes, not every day is a Mondays. One day he's going to forget and we'll catch up with him, and the government will catch up with him. Unfortunately, that's the way it should be. We know that the opposition have lost touch. They have any issues to do. They've tried to attack the government, to put up the mirror treatment, where they have to show that the government should look so desperately failures, and then the previous regime that left should look angelic, like they are holy. That's why today you can even see clergymen, they are still humbling down and kneeling down before a regime that was corrupt, the regime that was brutal, the regime that was so unprofessional, that has put the Zambian people, including the people these priests are busy preaching to, whose lives are in danger right now because the cost of living is high. Who do we blame? Who do we point a finger at? Who caused all this? Yes, we cannot talk about history, but we must have a point of reference at the end of the day. Where is all this coming from? Who made wrong decisions? So those people who made wrong decisions, who are in the wrong, for them to wanting to come here and play it holy, that they are innocent, and the current government that is trying to fix the mess should be held liable, then being disingenuous to the country, to themselves. They are not patriotic enough, including the clergymen. So the allegation, my brother, of police approaching Mpundu, Bishop Mpundu, sometimes I feel like even calling them bishop, it's just been unreasonable to us, and been just trying to be nice, because these guys, we can see for who they are. They are sheep in, they are black sheep in, yes, they are wolves in black sheep. We know, so we know who they are. They claim to be holy, they claim to be nice, they claim to be men of God, but emisango nemilandire nemichitire tuleshiva bwangu ife kwebantu. So natwishiva nokwishiva ti ababa mdala aba ifisumata pauta bakwete iyo. We don't, yes, we can allow him to criticize the government. He is at the liberty to do so. He is at liberty to do so. But he should do it with proper information, not just innuendos, just because you are rubbing shoulders with corrupt people. And then you start uttering words. That is what is costing him. But as for him being visited, what is not a factor for the government to visit him? Who is he? Just because he's a priest, Catholic priest or former Catholic priest, he doesn't mean a thing, you know. That's why we give them that opportunity of respecting them. Otherwise, that's my take for now.
All right, Mr. Mkelabai, thank you so much. We do appreciate, and those of you that are following through Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you're actually free to actually make known your opinions. Remember, this program is opinion based. It's your opinion that you get to add to the stories that we do bring right here on the program. And remember, the program is called My Point of View right here on our Ubuntu channel. Let's take a look at the next story and we see you on the other side.
Former Vice President Nevas Mumba has welcomed President Hakainde Hichilema's effort to engage the church in a dialogue over the country's challenges. Dr. Mumba says the move indicates government's recognition of the church's role as intercessors in the country's development.
The church is one of the most organized institutions in the nation. It is spread right across the country in nuclear bodies, which means that the church can say something in Lusaka and it's replicated in all the provinces of Zambia within one weekend. And I think that's a power in terms of organization.
And John Mambo says the church is ready to work with the government in developing the country.
Please appeal to churches for the mindset change. We have had cholera, we thank God, it's almost think of the past now. But those who rush into Kanyama, George Compound and so forth, to go and help our brothers and sisters who were found in this situation, they end up being attacked. And he said, what type of people are those?
Yesterday, President Hichilema hosted a dialogue with the church on ways to find solutions to some challenges in the country.
I called a meeting, emergency meeting on energy, because with lesser water, something that people don't know, it means also energy will become a challenge. So we have to look at quick alternatives. So I'm just giving you a sample of what your government is doing, but it cannot do everything alone.
While emphasizing on the need for prayer, the president also explained some of the measures being put in place by the government to resolve the challenges.
We cannot continue with unplanned settlements. We have to work together. Again, we agreed in a small room there that the church and the state will stand together to help create roads, Bishop Banda, drainages, water supply, clean water supply, take out shallow wells, take out pit latrines, slowly but sure, but aggressively.
And in a vote of thanks, Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia chairperson Bishop Paul Mususu assured the president that the church was ready to join hands with government in encouraging people to work hard and not to rely on handouts.
Only those who are well able and are willing to work are entitled to eat. You cannot have a situation where a farmer grows grain and they have to subsidize for me in the city.
He also backed President Hichilema's stance on unplanned settlements.
The unplanned settlements have resulted in the loss of lives through cholera. And we can't afford that. Another church would commit to educate our people to understand that the way Mrs. is planned, the way Chawama is organized, the way John Lang is organized, there is need to have passages where water cannot log.
President Hichilema took time to interact with stakeholders that were present at the prayer breakfast meeting. Masauso Mukwayaya, ZNBC.
There we have it, an organized ensemble of the government and church leaders there in pursuit to actually have a harmonized, kind of thing between the government and the church. There were complaints that the government was detached from the church, and we are seeing it is evident that a number of meetings, a number of avenues have been set for the government to actually, have that connectivity with the church. Your reaction, Mr. Mukelawai?
It's a good thing to engage the church, because the church represents a huge constituency of, if anything, most Zambians, 95% of Zambians are Christians, and they go to church every Sunday on stuff, you know. And the government, it's just imperative with the government to try and work hand in hand with the community, with the churches. But of late, we have seen that the churches have been so toothless in terms of sensitization of real issues, or in terms of coming into the governance system where they also have to provide some kind of, help to the government. We have had cholera. And cholera, for example, what did the church do? Instead of politicking, because most of our churches today, our church members, they are no longer preaching the word of God. They are into politics. They've gone into politics. And that's why we see, that's my opinion, by the way. Most of the church guys, they've gone into politics. They are money hungry hunters. They want people, their congregation, to pay as much money as possible, so they can build as many churches as possible, so they can have as many people as possible that can pay offerings, so that they can actually do their own programs, not national development issues. Their congregants are coming from compounds that are infected with cholera, infected with communicable diseases. What does the church do? Nothing. Nothing. The churches can't even go and dig pit latrines for their own congregants. Meanwhile, they have the capacity, they have money that is even not taxed, money for free, that the money which is coming and using the image of God, using the Bible. So I know as a Christian nation, I know we have proclaimed all this, but as my stand, I feel like our churches, they are not places to rely on when it comes to development or developing our community. Our churches are there to realize their profits. They are a business entity. And you see them running around claiming, no, they are men of God. They are busy pushing their private entities, their private interest. And that is money. They don't care about what their community goes through. There are only few churches that means well, to be honest with you. Already, we're just from talking about the bishop. You can tell that such a person, what is it that he has done himself with the monies that the Catholics have had or have? What is it that he has done to show the developmental projects that they've come up with that is going to help, that is helping the community? Nothing. But what we hear is they want to be the champion of transparency when themselves are not transparent. When themselves, they don't practice what they preach. Our community, a Christian community, are a disappointment. I'm sorry to say this, but we have a community of Christians in Zambia that are a disappointment, that they do not practice what they preach. I know the former vice president was there to thank the president of what the government is doing to engage the government. Yes, it is good, but in reality, no. Abama Christians muleranda pobalefu afe mpia. They want indalama muma churches yao, so they can send their children abroad. They would rather get money from the poor people through offerings and thanksgiving and stuff, so that they can push their agenda. They will buy vehicles that are expensive. They have plots. They are sending their children to very expensive schools. The so-called bishops or priests or pastors, reverends, papas, we see them for who they are. So the issue ya kuepesha lesa, I know Zambian people, they are very humble. They mean well when it comes to praying to God. Zambian people can do anything pali issue ya kwalesa. And that is where the Christians, they are taking these men of God and women of God who are called priests, whatever you call them, they take advantage using that weakness to exploit Zambian Christians. It is not about the congregants, it's about the leadership in the Christianity world. These are the people that are busy misleading their flock. Because their interests, they're so selfish and self-centered and very greedy. They are looking at their own interest, not about God or about helping. How many street kids do we have today in the country? How many street kids? Look at the number of churches that we have. How many churches do we have today? And how are these churches have helped in terms of mitigating the street children or these called junkies, helping them? Where? Nobody, not even a single church. They go to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. How many Sundays are there in a year? How much money do they raise? And how much money have they helped the community? Street kids pandemic, junkies pandemic. I call them pandemic because these are issues that we created ourselves in our society. These are our problem. We neglect our own children. The children, they go and fend for themselves. They end up on the street. What happens? We divorce our women. Our women, they go and have multiple partners and they end up getting pregnant and leave children on the street. What happens? What has the church done? Our churches, they want to make a point just because they are rubbing shoulders with the politicians in high offices. They are fake, they are hypocrites. I'm sorry to say this, but you just need to know that. But otherwise, it is good sometimes to remind ourselves about our consciousness, because down deep our heart, we know that what we are doing is wrong and we need to stop this and go back and plow back to the community. That is what we need as a country. And when we see them interacting with the government and supporting the government, kudos, we just have to thank them for that. That they should, we just hope that it is coming in good faith, not ukutufimba bata, ukutupimba bata, ukutufimba amafipa menso. This is what these guys do, the Christians. We Christians, we are a problem, hiding behind the Bible. That, to me, that's where I draw the line. It's better you just come out.
Then, Mr. Mukelabai, how exactly then should we behave as Christians? Because I've heard a couple of times, you do not change the message. Your message is actually, clear and consistent. But you are. I don't know how I can describe your stance. You are yet to correct me. If you are an anti, Christian faith, or anti, Christian behaviors, or I don't know. You may correct me. Which position are you really? Because I thought the interaction itself, as it were, was innocent and it needs to be encouraged. But then I'm hearing you are saying they are hypocrites and all they want is money, so that they can take their children, abroad and so on and so forth. How do you describe your position? Are you anti-Christian or Christianity or anything like that?
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, but I doubt about our faith because of our works and ways that are so unchristian. And that's why I question, are we really truly Christians when we claim to be one? Because us that are very moderate, that are very flexible about our religion, we accept that we can do this, we can say this, it's okay. But my worry is to those that have decided to take on their Christianity as their bread and butter and as their way of life. You see what they are doing, the effects or the actions speaks something else. And that's why you see so many are being caught with other people's wife pants down. Others, we hear them. They come prophesy, no, we are prophets, we are what? And listen to their message. Listen to them. Listen to them very careful. What is it that they are after? That is where my problem is, my brother. I am a Christian, but I'm a Christian that asks questions. And when I ask questions, many don't like it. I will be called names. I will actually be devalued. I will be called a devil's advocate, because of I have asked questions. Because most Christians hate to be asked a questions. What do you mean? Where do you derive this information? Why don't we see you acting, not just pakanwa? When you challenge them, they will call you names. They want to put you in a place where you belong. That is where I draw the line. And that's why you may ask a question, where do you belong? I belong in a Christian world, the real Christian world, where human beings are humble, where we mean what we say, where we practice what we preach. We preach what we practice, not you say this today, tomorrow you are found saying other things. Ask abakashana mu churches baka mieva abama priest ama bishop bali kunta shikumien preaching pa pulpit what they do. Women know a lot.
Okay, Mr. Mukelawa, I can only imagine if you were given an opportunity, you go to church, I think you'd still stick to the same message, and you'd just go straight and say, you hypocrites. You should change your ways.
We are hypocrites in a sense that we have so many people that are starving today, that are sleeping Pama churches, Pafivi, on the doors of the churches. And the churches are doing nothing about it. All they do is working. All they do is working.
I would actually agree with you to some extent, and disagree with you to some extent also, because it's not everyone, that does what you are saying. We do have, true Christians, true men of God that, are living according to the expectations of Christianity. And, we cannot have everyone who would, be as them. And just like it were, I got on a bus a couple of times, long distance, and I've seen these guys that get on board. Then they start, preaching for 5 seconds. And I was observing at the end of it, then they would say, support, you give your offering, and praying for you to have a safe journey. And most of them, I've observed them, and they don't look like the essence of it is to preach the gospel, but to have that support in terms of, finances. Which is not a good thing, like you are saying. So indeed, to some extent, I do agree with you. But we leave this story, for some other day. For now, let's take a look at the next story, and we see you on the other side.
in the past, we had challenges of water in school. But as we speak right now, we no longer have challenges of water.
What was once a promise from President Hakainde Hichilema has now materialized into a lifeline for students at Evelyn Hon College. The inauguration of the borehole signifies more than just water. It marks a new era of increased availability of the commodity at the institution, catering to over 8,000 students.
From the time it was launched, we haven't had any water challenges. Water keeps on running throughout, and we no longer have challenges of people coming late for classes because there is no water in their hostels.
We're glad that the president actually unveiled the new borehole. We had challenges of water where in the morning you want to go to class, you don't have water. But now with this borehole, at least we can defeat the problem.
Students at NIPA expressed similar sentiments as they too received a borehole from the president.
The president, when he came in August, he promised us that he would give us a borehole. And just yesterday, the president commissioned. To the students and everyone from us, we're saying thank you to His Excellency, as this borehole will not only reduce the crisis of water at NIPA, but will also, help in the fight against cholera.
I want to say thank you. This borehole will bring a lot of development in our school. Recently, we've been facing challenges when it comes to water shortage, which even led us to sometimes not having classes.
For both institutions, this isn't just about water, but a moment that helps improve their livelihoods.
We get excited sometimes when we're young. Always bring your students in line that our focus is to gain skills here. I am a person who prefers dialogue, not toy in the streets. If you have an issue like the issues you've articulated, let's sit in the boardroom, let's talk about them. We start knocking them off one by one, such as this borehole. We are better to do that than conflict, than basically damaging someone's car by the road. No value.
Management has extended heartfelt gratitude to President Hichilema.
On this very important occasion, when you are commissioning and officially handing over the borehole to our students, which will go a long way in improving the sanitation in the college. Mr. President, our programs are getting popular by the day, and hence students' numbers are growing, because your passion for education has been inspirational to our students.
We express our deepest gratitude for honoring your commitments, including payment for the conference facility that was used on August 31st, 2023 during your first visit, and the commissioning of the borehole.
President Hichilema's recent visit to NIPA and Evelyn Hon College is seen as a commitment to address the pressing needs of students and people at large. Ruth Chainda, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
It looks like the intention of the government is being overt in the programs that they have undertaken. One of which is to actually rid of the problem the students of NIPA and Evelyn Hon College have been experiencing by actually, putting up that borehole, and would like to see smiles get to extend and reach out, even to a common man on the street in terms of, the economy and so on and so forth. We are yet to witness that. Mr. Mkelawai, your reaction.
Thank you, Chaza. Question is, was this a government issue or it was Mr. Hichilema's project? Okay.
As the story, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I asked the question. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to ask you questions, but what do you think?
For me, it's be it a presidential, donation, it still comes back, because for me, the presidents and the president himself are inseparable.
Thank you. I know you're trying to be nice to protect your skin, but it's okay. But you see, at the end of the day, the person that is going to get credit of what has happened is Mr. Hichilema himself. Okay, in his personal or individual capacity, not as a president, I don't say. Of course, he intervened. Yes, we know his policy on education is clearly, he values education. He has told the Zambian people education is the better equalizer, and we agree with him. My worry is about people that are managing these institutions. What is it that they're doing? Do they have to wait for an angel to come from heaven to come and help them? What is it that they are doing in these institutions? How much did those boreholes cost for the president to have intervened? Because it had to take the president to intervene to mitigate the challenges the students have had. What does the management of the school, the colleges, have been doing? Why are they there? Why are we paying them? Because they are getting money from us. This is our taxpayers' money. Why do we have them? And they're even busy praising the government, the president. Thank you very much for your intervention. Where have you been? If you ask the principals of that college, they have been there for years and they've had funds, but they've never thought of prioritizing, or rather put that in their mind or in their program to say, let us source for funds so we can make boreholes for our students. That's not them to prioritize. They have other things to think of, how to milk the government, how to steal from the government. So these are chaps that needs to be fired. In my own personal capacity, individual capacity, they need to be, their contracts need to be terminated because they are of no use. It has to take an outsider, a politician who wants votes at the end of the day. Because now the grade has gone up on HH. I promise you, HH is going to win. Come 2026, with this kind of narrative, he's going to win. What about this management, the guys that are managing these institutions? What about them? What are they doing? That is my bone of contention. So my brother, much of we appreciate the gesture from the president, His Excellency. I believe he must have used, I don't know if he has Mr. Hichilema has a slush fund as well, like Chiluba used to have. I don't know where he's getting the money from, but we need a clarification on that as well as a country for transparency purposes, you know, because we don't want Mr. President to abuse his powers so that he can get a vote tomorrow. No, we want to let us reject Hakainde Hichilema in a very nice way that he has failed to deliver, not that he has taken advantage of his presidency and used the presidential slush fund. No. But at the same time, we want us to vote for Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for having had the heart, for having identified the problems and come up with a solution to fix our problems. Because he has the capacity. He used the money from his own pocket. That way, we would be very happy and ready to vote for him. But my problem and my worry is about the people running these institutions. What is it that they are doing? Apart from getting fat salaries, fat, nice incentives, they're getting good incentives, free fuel, free cell phone talk time, free drivings. Their wives, they will go to market, they get free of, they have a driver. What is it that they're doing? The directors, the principals, whoever is running these parastatals or colleges or institutions. What is their duty apart from troubling students with a lot of Tuma laws and rules and regulations? Don't do this, don't do that. Anyone can do that. But what is it that they're doing? These are technocrats. That's my bone of contention. It doesn't have to take the whole entire executive to come and help Evelyn Horn College or NIPA. When we have people that are doing that, we pay every month colossal sum of money as directors, as principals, as whoever, government officials, failing to come up with their own program to fix some of these challenges the schools are facing. That is my bone of contention. And this is where I draw the line as well. I say, no, YHH, we know you mean well for the country. But what about those chaps we are paying money? What are they doing? Fire them. Bring some people that can do the work. Come up with those projects themselves. Come up with ideas. Let the ideas be rejected by the financiers, and then we can have a different discussion. Unlike where you just keep quiet, don't say anything, you're not innovative, you're not creative. To me, that's a problem. Then we are just wasting money. That's my position. Thank you. Otherwise, it's a good gesture that the president managed to fund and put up those boreholes for the students. Students need that. They shouldn't also take their grievances to the road and break properties and stuff. Probably that's why the president decided to come in, because of the reaction sometimes from students that are so inconsistent with the laws. So they want. So the president, being one of the former students before, he already find such solution in his own head. But my worry is about those chaps who are running those institutions. Why are they there? For the president to come in and help them with the boreholes. Why didn't they think about this themselves? Better send them to the farm so we can bring other guys. That's my position. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We go straight to the next and last story.
This man, whatever they're saying out there, whatever they want, we are used, sir. They've come to the group, they've promised the Zambian people. When I'm going to hand over power to myself, it never happened, sir. It never happened. Now they've started forming Ukwa groups, Ukwa Baxi, whatever. It will never happen. Let's just focus, sir. As a promise, we believe in your leadership.
And I would like to assure you that have not just come along. There are structures on the Copper Belt, there are structures in Luapula, there are structures in Northern Province, there are structures in Chinga, there are structures in Lusaka, and across the country where I've been to mobilize the party. Those structures are hereby converted to the United Party for National Development.
I am here to work and not to talk. Unless talking will be my job. So that's all I can say. I'm here to join you so that we can support the president, we can support the government to do something great for our country.
Today, me, I'm not joining, I'm just coming back to my home. I'm not joining, I'm coming back to my home. UPND, it's in my blood.
As a Christian, I always believe once the hand of the Lord has appointed, people of Zambia came in numbers and voted for you, meaning that you were appointed by the Lord. And therefore you have to be given time.
Right, there we have it. We have, a number of political, leaders there, and including members of the opposition getting to join the ruling party, UPND. And I've seen Father Walia there, and also Patrick Samwimbila. Patrick Samwimbila, who belonged to the PF, and he was so much an ardent follower of ECL. And today we have seen him joining the UPND. Father Walia also had indicated that he may not at any time, join the ruling party. But there we have it. We have seen them. They've joined the ruling party. Your reaction, Mr. Mukelabai?
Well, we've seen this before. These are things that we don't need to be reminded, because we know how politicians work. We know who they are. We know what they are capable of doing. We know how they can flip, flop. We know how they can call themselves lunatics, and they come back and do exactly the opposite. So I'm not surprised. Yes, UPND has gained more support despite the economical hardship, despite all these allegations that have been pointed to them for having created economical hardship themselves, when we all know who. Otherwise, we understand the narrative. These guys, for them to have decided to come back to politics, to UPND, they've done their own research. They have assessed. They have assessed and thought through, and for them to come back, to come to join the ruling party, is their prerogative, is their constitutional right. Anyone in this country, in Mother Zambia, has the right to belong to any political party of their own choice. They can do it at any given time. Do we need to persecute them? Do we need to persecute them and call them names just because they have a change of heart? I don't think it's our area to do so. It is their prerogative, and we need to support that aspect. Whether they had joined other political parties, that is not our problem. This is what we mean when we talk about democracy. So when we hear people saying the democratic principles are at risk in Zambia, the democracy is actually under attack, then I'm finding it difficult to understand. What do you mean? We see people joining political parties. We see people forming political parties. We see even former presidents coming back to form alliances and political parties. What is this democratic space that you're talking about that is in a threat? So us Zambians, we are not foolish. We see what is happening in our country. So we cannot blame our brothers who decided to join the ruling party just because of their own personal forces and affiliations. It is entirely up to them. That's their democratic right. And there's nothing anyone can say or do to change that. If today Roy Emenda, what's his name of our prime minister, our former prime minister from Western Province, decide to join PF because he resigned from UPND and went to join PF because PF was for the Barotse land and did not what and blah blah blah. Then who are we to call him names? It is his mercy. It is his prerogative. It is his right. So I don't see any problem, and I don't even see why it should be an issue even to report. Because people are we are human beings. We are human beings by nature, love pleasure and avoid pain. So if we see pain in the opposition and we see pleasure in the ruling party, who are we to choose? Who are we to even judge those that decide to move on to where pleasure is, where happiness is, where they can access justice? We are not there to judge other people. So pain, pleasure, you choose and you move to pleasure, that's your choice. And nobody should judge you for that. So with Father Walia and his group, they've done a very nice way of, they're just exercising their democratic rights. That's what I can say for now. Otherwise, there's nothing much. They did a wonderful thing, and they are welcome to join the opposition, the ruling party. And we just want to see them doing some positive work, not just pakano. Chapwa. Otherwise, tapalifia kulande thing because never join the ruling party. What can we say? Should we throw stones on them? Should we insult them? How we? Tefyo democracy yava yo. Democracy is respected and anyone can choose any political party an individual wishes to affiliate themselves to without any judgment or anything, but just to support their move. Simple. That's my take, Mukwai.
All right, for me on this story, I would say that seeing what is happening, a movement from the opposition to the ruling party and vice versa, tells us a story that we need not fight. We need to remain objective. Politics must be politics of objectivity, because you may, change sides at any time, and it being as a matter of right. Today you may belong to the opposition. Tomorrow you may want to join the ruling party or even change to any other party. This is why we don't need to fight. This is why we don't need to insult each other. I saw a video clip where Mr. Chimba Kambwili was actually, apologizing to the president, saying, my brother, forgive me. So if we can see politicians insulting each other, doing all sorts of things, and tomorrow they actually change and say, I'm now joining this party, that will not sit well with us. We want to see, politicians against each other, but they don't insult each other. It's actually the policies, the beliefs, and so on and so forth that they need to actually differ on, and differ on principle. Then we are going to have a peaceful country. Even opposition, they can contribute towards governance positively, and even have an effective government like that. But if you insult and tomorrow you actually change tables, then we are going to have a problem with that. Yes. All right. And I must believe that we are learning from what is happening, because you see the top politicians, the leaders, they are changing at any time. Now, if you are a cadre and you are there fighting and killing each other, then you see the topmost, they are changing at any time. So we must know also that what we say and do today, may come and haunt us tomorrow. So what we say and do today must merit us even to change from one side to the other without any problem. Let's move on and take, one more story, because it's been due to demand that we actually have another story instead of ending on the previous one. Let's proceed and take a look. Then we come back on the other side.
If you see any suspicious looking happenings in your society or in your community or any groupings, please do not hesitate to bring to the attention of the local police station, the nearest police station where you are, so that will help us as police as we plan for patrols. So, of course, if you go jogging in the morning, you see a group of people, maybe there are 5, the next day you see there are 6, there are 10, or growing in number. When you inform us as police, then that helps us to ensure that we police that area very well. So please, the key thing is report, and do not listen to these unverified informations, and do not actually, if you see someone sends you an audio or whatever, or a video, before you pass it on to your friend, try to verify it with the authorities.
All right, an appeal there coming from the police due to the way we treat the information that we receive, especially on social media. And most of it happens to be propaganda. So, direction has been given by the police. Mr. Mkeleba, your take on that one?
Actually, it's very important. It's not just about reporting back or forwarding messages. It's about, yes, verifying facts. We have a situation where in today's social media, we have so much, there's so much hate because people are precipitating on spreading falsehood that really hate people. Because when you tell a lie really does cause a lot of pain, and some of us, we find solace in it, and we even enjoy when we see people spreading rumors and falsehood about other people. That's where the problem is. Even sometimes I get surprised to see journalists, professional, without verifying, without fact-finding, without making sure that what they're about to report is a legitimate case or is something that is really authentic. They would just go ahead and publish and forward it to many people. And what happens out there, many Zambians, they will also forward to their friends. And that is how rumors spread like wildfire. So we should have a very systematic way of challenging ubufi. Because ubufi na buchilamo pa Zambia, ubufi bukachepa. We are liars. We are thriving on lies, and yet we want to call ourselves a Christian nation. A Christian nation that thrives on lies is not a Christian nation, but it's a country full of hypocrites. And when hypocrites have taken over the whole nation, what happens? Because you are missing out real issues. You are concentrating and getting upset, raising your BP over a lie, over ubufi, innuendo, propaganda. You are even upset. You hate somebody because somebody has reported negative about him, even when you don't know the facts on the ground. But because somebody has said it, because it is coming from the PF, because it is coming from the church, because it is coming from you. Take it as gospel truth and you retaliate by hating, by spreading the hate. And you know, there's chain reaction. It is a chain reaction where the hate will go on and meet everyone. But the moment you learn the truth, what happens? Then you see the way you are going to go down on your knees and say, I wish I knew. But too late, the damage has already been made. And this is why you see lelo avena chitambala bale batola kuma koti avena nani avena tayali bale batola kuma koti for defamation avena what's his name of this SG of PF alea kukoti because he said something that was hateful. Like Shimba Kambwili, they have been arrested for hateful speech and tribalism. Why? Because of what he said. Why do you think that is? Because they thrived on lies, and most of those lies, everyone believed them, the whole nation. And now when the truth comes out, then you find yourself stupid and be caught red-handed for having lied. What happens now? You need to be punished because the law is there. When you tell a lie, even in the Bible, thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. Meaning thou shalt not lie. But what do? We lie. We spread the rumors because we have gadgets. We are spreading rumors, lies to everyone. And some people even act on those lies and even start hating somebody innocently. They just hate you. Hakainde Hichilema is one of the victims. And look at the hate. Most of these people that were spread with rumors on hating him, many people still hate him because people spread lies about him, you know. But we were surprised. He beat the liars. He beat up the liars and with a clean game, beat them by 1 million votes. What happened? Do we still see them regretting for the lies they spread? No, we still see them coming back and still wanting to point. He's corrupt. He did this. He's a thief. Where did he steal? What did he do? We don't have evidence, but we have evidence about them that were poor before they came into office, but left the government with millions of kwacha, where now they are giving nieces colossal sum of money. So we really need to be very careful with what we talk and put on social media. Lies have short legs. We don't need to lie. We just be honest and let's investigate. And journalists should learn to investigate before they put anything out on their newspapers as headlines or any social media. They should really they should give it due diligence and spread the right information than spreading ubufi, bukachep, because it will come back to us and haunt us. That's my message over this issue. Otherwise, it has been a wonderful topic. Let's just stop lying. So let's listen to Remy, what's his name again? Maimbuya, our police officer, who has said we should verify and report when we engage the authorities whenever we see some illegal activities taking place. And calling young men who are drug addictive or whatever as junkies, I think we should find a better word. Let's help these kids. That's my position. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for me, I would like to see these street kids that have even grown into street adults being taken care of by the government. Equipping them, with some skills and so on and so forth.
And the church, the same bishops should come out and say we took 50 of the young men and took them for rehabilitation, not politicking. Thank you.
Exactly, and that would be a good thing, because if these children are not controlled, they will definitely become a very big danger to society. So it's high time that the government and also civil societies get to look into this issue. This has been my point of view on Ubuntu channel. My name is Chaza, your host, and Mr. Mkelawai, right on the panel, getting to actually add his voice to the stories that we have. Sometimes controversial, but indeed his opinion, which is greatly appreciated. So for now, from me, I'm saying, don't do what...
Not gospel truth.
For me, I'm saying, don't do what you wouldn't want to be done to you. Do unto others what you'd like it to be done to you. Till next time, God bless you all.